Today is all about celebrating you, Learning Ally's incredible volunteers, and everyone within our community who supports our mission. It takes a village to do the work that we do here at Learning Ally. So whether you're actively supporting, you've supported us in the past, or you're new here, today is about celebrating what we as a community and volunteers accomplish together. My name is Maria Lely. I oversee Learning Ally's volunteer programs. If you get an email from Learning Ally about volunteering, it's most likely from me. So hello again. This year is particularly special because Learning Ally is celebrating our 75th anniversary. So for over 75 years, Learning Ally has relied on the tremendous support of volunteers to transform literacy and life outcomes for students who struggle with reading. Not many organizations can say that they've had the privilege of telling their story with volunteers by their side for this many years. So this is an enormous accomplishment. So not only are we celebrating your achievements this year, we are celebrating 75 years of Learning Ally and volunteers working towards literacy for all. The smiling faces that you're seeing here on the screen in a bit and in the audience today are some of Learning Ally's many volunteers who dedicate their time, energy, and talent to help students read, learn, and succeed. And we want to know who's with us here today, so I encourage you to engage with us in the chat box. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, share how long you've been connected with Learning Ally, and staff members, please feel free to do so too. I'm going to go ahead and guess that no one's been here for all 75 years, but if you have been, then I am super impressed. You get an award. We've invited some really awesome guest speakers with us here today too to help us celebrate. We have students, parents, and educators here to share how Learning Ally and our volunteers have positively impacted them. We also have Learning Ally's president and CEO, Andrew Friedman, here to share how important your contributions are to our mission. And we're going to invite you to stick around for the second half of the hour to continue the celebrations. We're going to open up our breakout rooms so you can connect and meet with fellow volunteers and staff members. And we've got some fun activities planned, so we hope you'll stick around. All right, with that, let's jump into the next half of the event. So our volunteers are making an impact. Our volunteers from around the world sit at the heart and soul of Learning Ally's mission. This past year, 2,790 volunteers donated over 35,000 hours of service. Each month, Learning Ally is joined by over 200 individuals from all walks of life. From high school students to retired professionals, this diverse group of volunteers brings their unique talents to support Learning Ally in a variety of ways. We also want to highlight our corporate volunteer program. Learning Ally was supported by 41 corporate partners and their employee volunteers this past year. We had over 1,200 corporate employee volunteers join us, and they donated over 2,500 hours of service. Our volunteers make an enormous impact on our mission and students. Volunteers help create engaging audiobooks in the Learning Ally audiobook solution, supporting the production process as narrators, quality assurance testers, listeners, editors, and book trailer producers. Volunteers engage our school leaders, educators, students, and parents in literacy initiatives through back-to-school campaigns, tutoring, and family literacy nights. And volunteers appreciate our educators in the Learning Ally educator community, showering them with gratitude at events and activities throughout the year, and help us thank our donors through call campaigns. Volunteers grow our reach and impact in schools and homes across the US through research projects, outreach, and advocacy. And volunteers transform literacy and life outcomes each day they show up to volunteer with Learning Ally. It is very hard to put into words all of the amazing work that our volunteers do to make a difference. So we asked our staff members to tell us why they appreciate volunteers. And here are some of the most common words we heard used to describe them: passionate, dedicated, invaluable, selfless, our heart and soul, our backbone, literacy leaders, determined, talented, and inspiring. Each volunteer project you support opens up a world of opportunity for students who struggle with reading. And together with volunteers, Learning Ally is directly impacting students, educators, families, and schools, bringing us closer to literacy for all. With that, I'm excited to introduce our first guest speaker of the afternoon, Learning Ally's President and CEO, Andrew Friedman.
Thank you, Maria. So incredibly excited to be here. On behalf of myself, the National Board, all of our staff, and most importantly, the millions of students and educators that we all serve who are impacted by all of your great work and generosity, thank you. And thank you for everything that you do. You're all the engine behind what we do. And I say this all the time, we cannot do what we do without you. As Maria alluded to, yeah, this is our 75th year. Some of you may know that Learning Ally was founded by Auntie McDonald in the basement of the New York Public Library as Recording for the Blind. So to take on Maria's challenge of our 75th, if I can say it, anniversary, I have told people this is our 75th anniversary, and then they have then asked, was I the founder of the organization? So that would make me somewhere over at least 100 years old. So I know I don't necessarily look great, but do I actually look like I'm 100 years old? So you can share that in chat. So feel free to discuss whether I actually look 100 or not at this point. I don't think I quite look that bad. But when Anne founded the organization, volunteers were always at our core to success. She organized her friends around the country to establish units and recording studios to help record books, back then on reel-to-reel tapes, and really for blinded vets returning from World War II, to give them the opportunity to learn and succeed. I've actually talked to people back then who used our services. Imagine what it was like getting books on reel-to-reel tape and how big those packages were, right? They would get these packages in from the United Postal Services, which were literally stacked, that high, and then apply them to the reel-to-reel and kind of listen as it went. It was an incredible task. When I got here 14 years ago, we still had close to 30 studios that volunteers came to record, and have times changed, right? If you think about the advancement of technology, her vision to use technology to provide equitable educational opportunities to one is still what continues to guide our work today, right? At our core was always about technology and access to content for those who struggle to get access in the formats that they need. Think about those early days, and we continue to leverage technology and the advancement of technology. Now, everything we do is technology-based, driven from the devices our students used, the asynchronous training platforms that we use to train our educators. And now we're exploring ways in which AI can actually even advance further the things that we do, right? So technology continues to empower our ability to serve more and more students as we continue to grow. And today, you support all of our areas of our mission, right? You help to create our audiobook solutions, Excite Reading, prepping books for narration, assisting in the production process, post-production, quality assurance. You help drive our growth, as Maria said, right? Through research projects that we do. There are many volunteers that help us on those. Outreach directly to schools, donor appreciation programs, our educator engagement, piloting tutoring programs. Nonstop, the volunteers continue to be part of our organization and our growth. You increase our funding, right? You support our school renewals, which are 90% renewals, right? So schools that use our services come back at over 90%, which is a big attribution to the work that our volunteers do in recording our books, as well as calling schools to make sure that schools continue to use our services. You engage with partners and prospects, corporate volunteers events as well. And of course, many of you not only give your time, but you give your money as well, which we are incredibly thankful to. So each and every day you volunteer, you're contributing to Learning Ally and helping us support not only the 2 million students, but the 450,000 educators across 21,000 schools nationwide. You also help us envision how we're going to reach the millions more students that we need to with the solutions we have today, plus new ones that we even haven't created. So again, on behalf of myself, all the others you impact and empower, thank you. Volunteers were how we started, and you remain core to our success today. So back to Marie and the team, and thank you on behalf of myself and everybody we serve.
Thank you, Andrew. So I am now going to introduce our next guest speakers, the Mihailov family. We have with us Sam, Lucy, and Lauren. Sam is 12 years old and a sixth grader from Minnesota. He has been using Learning Ally for 4 years after being diagnosed with dyslexia, dysgraphia, and ADHD in the 2nd grade. He enjoys football and video games and runs on the track and cross country teams. Lucy is 15 and a sophomore. She has been using Learning Ally for 8 years after being diagnosed with dyslexia in 3rd grade. She enjoys archery and singing and is currently in 2 choirs, but her real passion is books. Lauren is with us as well. Lauren is the mom of Lucy and Sam. She works in communications for a big healthcare company in Minnesota. She is passionate about Learning Ally and will enthusiastically go toe-to-toe with anyone that asserts that audiobooks don't count as reading. I will turn it over to you.
We're going to have you go first, Sam.
What? So basically what Learning Ally means to me is I just didn't really like reading before, and then Learning Ally just really helped cope with that, where now I enjoy sitting down for multiple hours at a time and reading.
Do you have like a favorite series that you want to tell
yes,
people?
My favorite series has got to be the Percy Jackson series.
What do you like about it?
There are multiple books, and there are a lot of other series that branch off from that.
Great. Thanks, buddy. Lucy, you want to go next?
Sure. So I was the first in the family to get introduced to Learning Ally, and when it was introduced to me, it wasn't paid for by my school district or really any school district in the area. So we paid for it with our own money. And through sharing this with teachers, we were able to get it paid for through the school district. However, I would switch to a school run account, and that meant I would lose all my bookshelves and everything on Learning Ally that it was something I was really proud of after struggling with reading for so many years. So I offered to pay for my Learning Ally account with my own babysitting money as I was like 10, 12.
I think so, yeah. So the Minnetonka schools had made the decision after families like ours kind of lobbied for it to start covering the cost of Learning Ally for students that could use it as a tool. Versus when we, like Lucy said, when we first started, we had to pay for it out of our own pocket. And so they gave us the option to switch to a covered account, but it would have meant you lost her, what did you call them?
My trophies.
Her trophies, the books that she had read. So she wanted to keep the library she already had and offered to pay for it, like she said, out of her own babysitting dollars so that she could cover the cost of Learning Ally and kind of keep the library she already had.
So that's my favorite story with Learning Ally, but I want to talk more about what Learning Ally did for me and not just how I felt about it. I despised reading as a kid because I was always considered a gifted child, and then suddenly I felt like I was less than everyone else and I wasn't as smart as everyone else. And people were making friends, talking about books and talking about Harry Potter, and I just couldn't be a part of that. And then I got into Learning Ally, and I read the Lemony Snicket series as my first real adventure on Learning Ally. I read all 13 books, and
Really fast.
Really?
Like really fast.
it took like 2 years. I reread a few of them. And after considering continuing to read on Learning Ally, I got super far into it, especially through my middle school years, because I was given Learning Ally in around the 3rd grade. And then in 7th grade, COVID hit and I was online, and I got into like the Hunger Games and Divergent and Harry Potter. And I got to have like that childhood experience and talk about it with my friends and make friends with my new interests. And I would even skip online class to read my books, and I finished the Hunger Games in like a week. I'm sorry, Mom. I finished the Hunger Games series in under 2 weeks, including the book that had just come out, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. it was amazing. I can't describe to you in words what Learning Ally has done for me, and the photo of me holding all the books, that's my to be read pile, because I like having the paper copies just to put on my shelf when I'm done with them on Learning Ally. But I really do, I am so grateful for everyone at Learning Ally and for everything that they've done for me.
Well, I don't have a lot to add to that, and I can't talk about this much as the mom without getting super emotional. And the dogs want to chime in too. But I would just say, when we first started with Learning Ally, it really just opened up an entire new world for the kids. And I've always been super passionate about books, and it was something that I think I wanted them to love books, and they were having such a hard time. And so it was a really tricky time, even as a parent and as a family. And this really just opened a whole new world. And I am so, so grateful to all of you who make this tool work and make it work so well. I was incredibly surprised to learn that this is a volunteer organization. And I know that there are a lot of you that put in a great deal of time and effort and dedication to make this work. And what I would say is, never doubt for a moment that you are literally changing lives through this organization. That is not hyperbolic. You are absolutely changing lives through this. And the time and effort that you are putting in, it matters. And so just truly thank you, each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much, Lauren, Lucy, and Sam. Thank you for being here to share your story and celebrate our volunteers. There are a ton of comments for you in the chat, so I encourage you to go read them. And there is Lucy with her large stack of books. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Lucy.
Can I just say that I consider myself more of a book dragon than a worm? I hoard them. I will keep them forever.
We love that. We're going to steal that. I'm excited to introduce our next two guest speakers, Leah and Ayelet. Leah is a high school senior this year and will be heading off to college in the fall. Leah is the author of Dyslexic Renegade, a book that allows readers to experience dyslexia through the eyes of a 9-year-old girl. Leah has also been a volunteer with Learning Ally and even recorded her book in one of our studios. Leah is a proud dyslexic and advocates for equity in education. Ayelet is mother to Leah and a former teacher turned Orton Gillingham trained reading specialist. Ayelet's life was transformed when her daughter Leah was diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of 9, and her school would not offer her the proper support for her reading challenges. Ayelet quit her job and trained in Orton Gillingham so she could help Leah, and today she is a reading specialist who helps other young learners. She is also an advocate for equity in education and works to educate others on the science of reading. I will turn it over to you, Leah and Ayelet.
All right. Hi, I'm Leah. This is my mom, Ayelet. So I've been using Learning Ally for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is, I was diagnosed when I was 9. I turned 18 a couple weeks ago, last week. Learning Ally has been something just truly, truly amazing for me. When I wasn't able to read in my 4th grade class, I was able to use it to catch up and be able to talk in discussions with everybody. I expressed that to my teachers, and they were very upset that I was actually using the books to learn. Instead of reading them, I would listen to them, and my teachers were very upset by that. Learning Ally is just, I don't even have words for how amazing it's been to be able to read. I went into 5th grade at a kindergarten reading level. I couldn't read. I base everything off of pictures and kind of try to put things together like that. But Learning Ally has just been so amazing. And I want to thank all of the volunteers who's been able to help me learn and help me express how I want to express myself through books. I use it every day to this day. I've been reading a book through it for one of my classes. I've been reading books for fun on it, which is something I never thought I'd say.
I never thought I would see the day that I would hear her say that. But Learning Ally has really been a godsend for us. When we found out that she was dyslexic, or she is dyslexic, we didn't really know where to go. I knew there were audiobooks in the library, but I don't know that there were like kids' books, or at least the kids' books that they were reading in school. And her neuropsych doctor recommended Learning Ally. So we signed up for it the same day that we came back from the neuropsych evaluation meeting that we had. We signed up immediately, paid for it out of pocket. Her school was basically like, no, that's cheating. Didn't want to hear anything about it. And we listened to it anyway. This way she was able to go to school and participate in the discussions. But then we ended up putting her in a dyslexia school where she received a school account. And now she's at a different dyslexia school, and she still has a Learning Ally account via the school. When she goes to college, we will get her a private account and, you know, pay for it, because it's just worth it. It's more worth, I don't know. I don't even have the words for the gift that Learning Ally has given her. I like to read. I read everything. I devour books. And it was really painful for me to have Leah not be able to get what I get from books. So to have that for her is really a true gift.
And thank you both so much for being advocates for equity in education. The work you're doing is so important and inspiring to all of us here. You have a lot of belated birthday wishes in the chat for you, Leah.
Thank you.
They're
Aw.
cheering you on, and we would love to continue to follow your advocacy efforts. So thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, and I will now introduce our next guest speaker. We have with us Tori Reese. Tori is currently a high school senior and will be heading off to the Culinary Institute of America in the fall, where she will major in culinary arts. Tori has always been passionate about cooking, and she is excited to explore new opportunities, meet new people, and take on challenges at college. In addition to cooking, Tori wants to become an activist and advocate for people of color and people with disabilities. She plans to use her platform to raise awareness about the importance of inclusive representation in the culinary industry. Tori, I will turn it over to you now.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, I started using Learning Ally in the 8th grade when I transferred to a school that supports children with learning differences. And at first, I was pretty hesitant to use the system because I was like, oh, this is just like, oh, another AI system. But once I got to hear like people's voices, I was able to connect with the stories more. You know, it just felt different than any other like learning experience or reading experience I had. Before Learning Ally, I needed help remembering where I last left off. It was common for me to skip a lot of words or make mistakes. It was really hard for me like distinguish between like lines in the book. Most of the time, I needed help comprehending or connecting with what I was reading, which resulted in a frustrating experience for me. And it was a huge struggle. Like I would be embarrassed if a teacher ever asked me to like read aloud in class. After Learning Ally, I felt way more comfortable reading aloud in class. I was way more able to connect with books and stories. It was no longer like an embarrassing or frustrating experience for me. As I go off to culinary school, I still want to use Learning Ally, although I kind of looked and Learning Ally does not have like culinary books, but I think I'll use Learning Ally more as a tool to help me like read different books outside of like culinary school. Currently, my school does pay for Learning Ally, so I will have to come out of that out of pocket. But I think it's like a total like necessity to have. I also would like to take the time to thank all of the volunteers who generously spent the time using their voices for the audiobooks. I also like to thank the people behind the scenes, like recording, because I know that's just as important as the people who are um, audioing the book. You guys make this experience way more enjoyable, and you guys bring the stories to life, which is just simply unmatched. I'm so grateful for the effort, passion you guys put into these projects. Thank you for making audiobooks come alive.
Thank you so much, Tori. We look forward to hearing about all that you accomplish next year in your first year. You have also some folks in the chat cheering you on, and we're so excited that you are heading off to the CIA next year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of our guest speakers who joined us today to celebrate the volunteers. We do have a couple more special guests coming up. Every year, we honor Learning Ally volunteers with the Mary Alice and John Marrow Service Awards. And this year, we're excited to have our two special guests join us in presenting the awards. We've welcomed Tiffany Dudley, who is an elementary school librarian, media resource specialist, and literacy leader from Texas. Tiffany passionately shares her love of literacy, STEM, and best practices in instructional technology across the state and with her students. And in 2021, Tiffany was honored as the Texas Library Media Specialist of the Year. We also have with us the very talented Landon. Landon is in the 3rd grade this year, and he has a love of science, and he has kindly joined us today to celebrate you all. So Tiffany and Landon, I will turn it over to you to help us celebrate this year's Mary Alice and John Marrow Service Awards.
Thank you so much, Maria. What an amazing honor it is to be part of this event again. Thank you for asking me, and to be able to thank the volunteers who have a direct impact on the students that I serve. I actually have one of those students here with me that you introduced, Landon. This is Landon. He's a 3rd grader here, and he participates in one of my Learning Ally book clubs. And I know Landon is super excited to be here, and he actually asked me if it would be okay if he could share his favorite book with you all. So Landon, what has been your favorite book on Learning Ally so far?
My Teacher's an Alien.
My Teacher is an Alien. Sounds very interesting. And who is your favorite character in that book?
Peter.
Peter. Why would you pick Peter as your favorite character?
Because he reads sciences books and he learned about like science, and then when I grow up I want to be a scientist and see what it feels like to go to space.
Very cool. That Landon, that is awesome. What a great goal that is for your future. I just know that you will be an amazing scientist who also loves to read, right? Absolutely. What an amazing difference audiobooks make in the lives of our students. Thank you to the volunteers who make this possible, and please know you are making a difference each and every day as you help students discover their love for reading and learning. Now it is my pleasure to honor a few Learning Ally volunteers with the Mary Alice and John Marrow Service Awards. The Mary Alice and John Marrow Service Awards are named in honor of two very special individuals who have generously supported Learning Ally's mission. Mary Alice Marrow was a longtime volunteer who accumulated over 4,000 service hours recording audiobooks in Learning Ally's New York-based recording studio over several decades. She also served as secretary and a member of Learning Ally's National Board of Directors. Today, the generous philanthropic gifts of Mary Alice and John Marrow's estate and foundation provide Learning Ally with an incredible opportunity to invest and enhance our solutions for students, educators, and families. In honor of Mary Alice and John Marrow, we recognize volunteers with 3 different service awards every year: the Lifetime Milestones Award, the Overachiever Award, and the Above and Beyond Award. Volunteers who are awarded the Lifetime Milestones Award are recognized for donating an extraordinary amount of service and hitting a new milestone in their service hours this year. Volunteers who receive this award have reached milestones ranging from 500 hours to 8,000 hours of service and demonstrate a strong commitment to supporting Learning Ally's mission. Volunteers who are awarded the Overachiever Award are recognized for going the extra mile and making significant contributions to Learning Ally's mission in the past year. This award is presented to volunteers who have donated a significant amount of their time, ranging from 50 to 1,000 hours of service in just 1 year. Finally, volunteers who are awarded the Above and Beyond Award are recognized for consistently going the extra mile in their volunteer service. These volunteers are selected individually by staff members who work closely with our volunteer teams. Volunteers who receive this award are selected for their passion, hard work, and selfless donation of their skills and time across various volunteer roles. Landon, did you have anything else you wanted to say to our great volunteers?
Yes. Thank you again to all of the volunteers who make Learning Ally possible. Because of you, many students will find their favorite book and start to love to read just like me.
Thanks so much, Maria, for having us.
Thank you, Tiffany and Landon. We appreciate you being here today to honor all of our award recipients, and congratulations to all of the service award recipients. We cannot thank you enough for donating your time as a volunteer, and all of our award recipients have received notice of their awards. You can also find the list of recipients on our volunteer portal. We had so much fun celebrating you today. We just want to thank all of the staff members who helped coordinate this event and who help lead our volunteer teams every single day. And thank you to all of our guest speakers who joined us. It is really amazing to look back at Learning Ally's history and know that for 75 years, we've had volunteers supporting us every step of the way. So thank you for everyone who is with us today, who's a volunteer, active or new to volunteering. We're glad you're with us. And just thank you for everything you do to make a difference with Learning Ally.
Thank
I
you.
will leave it
Thank
here.
you.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Maria.
Great to see everybody for the
Good
first
job, Maria.
time. Hope to see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you, Maria.
Maria.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Maria.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.